Black Panther Wakanda Forever is an intense actioner that passes the superhero torch to a team of strong female leads while paying tribute to the hero that came before them. It's also fueled with many hidden secrets and Easter eggs. First, let's address the Panther that's not in the room, the late great Chadwick Boseman. His unexpected death altered the path of the MCU and left fans, filmmakers, and collaborators with a profound emptiness. In the opening sequence, Letitia Wright's Shuri struggles to heal the unseen T'Challa of his mysterious illness. Listen as she confers with her AI Griot. Returning as the voice of Griot is Trevor Noah, best known for his work on The Daily Show. He advises Shuri that the confidence rate of her synthetic heart-shaped herb is only 29.1%, but by the time she prints it out, it's already too late. King T'Challa has died. We watch the Black Panther's funeral procession before the Marvel Studios intro runs. Two absolute firsts take place here for the MCU in reverence to Chadwick Boseman. One, every shot projected along the logo is of the actor, and two, the intro plays over almost absolute silence. No Marvel theme, just the empty howl of light wind. For the rest of the film, composer Ludwig Göransson even made the bold decision to very sparsely use the original Panther's theme, instead deciding to create new themes for Shuri and the rest of the characters. The filmmakers felt it best to only let the full rendition of T'Challa's theme play during the funeral, in order to subtly signify the passing of the mantle of the Black Panther, while also saying Boseman's T'Challa legacy will last forever. Did you know that this Black Panther sequel almost didn't happen? For his part, director Ryan Coogler almost couldn't bear the prospect of moving on with the series without his friend and hero Chadwick Boseman. I'm sure no one would blame him for calling it quits, but based on his final conversations with Boseman, Coogler decided that it would be best to keep pushing forward with the film. He would later state that making Wakanda Forever was the hardest thing he's ever done, but he did get it done. Legend. Art imitates life, and Wakanda is struggling to fill the void left by King T'Challa. Outside political forces are also secretly trying to steal Wakanda's extraordinary resource, vibranium. After such an attempt is thwarted by Danai Gurira's Okoye and the Dora Milaje, watch as the event makes the nightly news. Yes, I know it's Anderson Cooper, but take a look at the ticker on the bottom. Scott Lang continues tour in support of autobiography Look Out for the Little Guy. Scott Lang is played by Paul Rudd, who goes by another name, Ant-Man. This is a plug Easter egg for the next Marvel movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Anyway, if political threats weren't enough, vibranium has been discovered elsewhere deep in the Atlantic. Enter Namor and the Talokan eel. Namor is the king of the underwater kingdom, Talokan, and he's played by Tenoch Huerta. Namor is known to comic fans as Namor the Submariner, and premiered in the unpublished Motion Pictures Funny Weekly #1 in April of 1939, before making his big splash in Marvel Comics #1 in October of that same year. Did you know that he was the first Marvel character to be called a mutant? The movie pays homage to this fact in the scene when he tells Shuri about his birth and how his kingdom came to be. He tells her plainly, "I was a mutant." For the Submariner, you'd think that Coogler and his production team would be looking at all sorts of swimming experts with acting chops to take on the character. According to Huerta, while he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, when Coogler offered him the role, he was asked about his swimming skills. Huerta simply replied, "I've never drowned before." That's right, the man who would be King Namor didn't know how to swim. Needless to say, he took swimming lessons to prep for the role, and for a while, floaties were his best friend. Ryan Coogler is no slouch when it comes to developing strong, complicated villains, and Namor is another fine character developed in the same vein. Coogler and Huerta both felt that it was important to humanize Namor and give him relatable motivations, even though he possesses a serious threat to Wakanda and its people. Watch his first scene when he appears to Shuri in Queen Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett. Pay close attention to the elephants. There are 3 of them, an elder, an adolescent, and a young one. Could they symbolize Ramonda and her children? Namor's presence creates unrest, and they retreat into the jungle. Foreshadowing? What's a king without his throne? Namor is certainly something to behold. According to production designer Hannah Beachler, what we're looking at is the jaw of a megalodon with jade teeth. That's a maw that puts Jaws to shame. But that's not all. Look closely at the bone throne, and you'll see that there are hieroglyphics carved into it. What do they say? "This jade tooth bites." Cheeky. Another fun fact, look at Namor's name. In the film, he has another. His birth name is Kukulkan, but he was cursed by a Spanish man of faith who called him a child without love, which led to the much easier Namor. But did you know that in comics the name Namor came from a very different kind of inspiration? It's pretty simple actually, all you need is a mirror. That's right, Namor is the word Roman spelled backwards. The filmmakers felt the need to change another name in order to differentiate Namor from another comic book-based super being. In the comics, Namor rules the realm of Atlantis. Sadly, so does DC's Aquaman. And his solo film came out in 2018, not too long ago. With that in mind, the filmmakers decided to create a realm based on Aztec legends and called it Talokan. Speaking of the Talokanil, did you know that the actors portraying the underwater people learned a Mayan language for the film? That's not all. Tenoch Huerta, Alex Livinalli, who plays Atuma, and Mabel Cadena, who plays Namora, felt like they needed a salute for their people and their fans, much like the Wakandans have in Wakanda Forever. With the language and culture used as inspiration for the Talokanil, they came up with a beautiful hand gesture for their people, as well as Likik Talokan, which means Rise Talokan. Namor risks making his kingdom known to Shuri in order to convince her that the scientist outside of Wakanda who created the technology that found his source of vibranium needs to be sacrificed. There are a few problems with that. First, killing is bad, okay? Second, the scientist isn't some egocentric psycho built on world domination. The scientist is a student. Meet Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne. In the comics, she also goes by another name. Watch as she armors up in her warehouse while the feds surround the place. At one point, Shuri looks at Riri's technology and asks, "Is it Stark Tech?" Check out the quick shot of her arc reactor, or should I say heart reactor. Though the name isn't uttered in the movie, comic fans know that Riri Williams' superhero name is Ironheart. As Stark Tech goes, Riri seems to be following in the footsteps of Tony Stark and making the same mistakes. Remember in Iron Man when Tony takes the Mark II suit as high as it can go and literally freezes it up? Riri takes herself too high for safe oxygen levels. Thankfully, both heroes narrowly escape death, but dang, they both sure have a flair for the dramatic. Riri doesn't always have access to her incredible gear, and earlier when Okoye and Shuri catch her off guard while on campus, she desperately wields a space heater as her weapon of choice. Okoye and Shuri mock her and assure her that she and her space heater will have no problem defeating Namor when he comes to kill her. Actually, they're not far off. Riri will later design a sort of heat trap in the hopes of bringing Namor to his knees. That's a cool bit of foreshadowing for you. Familiar faces return to the series as well. Remember Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman? He's still secretly trying to keep peaceful relations with Wakanda after Shuri saved his life in the first movie. However, it just so happens that his ex, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, is the director of the CIA. When she finds out that he's been having conversations with the queen behind her back, she has him arrested. Watch the scene where Okoye springs him from the prisoner transport. The Midnight Angel suit is pretty intense, but that's not what you should focus on. Where's a great place to hide an Easter egg? That's right, a license plate. This one reads CB112976. A little long for a license number, don't you think? What could it possibly stand for? It's another tribute to Chadwick Boseman. The CB is self-explanatory, but the digits mark the date of his birth, November the 29th of 1976. Okoye is stripped of her role after Shuri is taken by the Talokanil during the mission to bring Riri back to Wakanda. Later, she's visited by another familiar face, Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o. Nakia was mysteriously absent from T'Challa's funeral. Though she tells Okoye of her overwhelming grief, something else is at play. More on that later. But take a good look at where they are. They're talking in the same space at the end of the funeral procession, which also happens to be the hut where Bashenga, the first Black Panther, was born. Did you know the hut is actually a tribute in its own right? It's modeled after a hut in Mvezo, where African leader Nelson Mandela was born in 1918. Nelson Mandela was an anti-apartheid human rights activist and the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. Bashenga's hut isn't the only location injected with historical significance. In Haiti, Nakia lives quietly in a house by the ocean. Did you see the number on the building? 1804. That's the year of Haiti's independence. The people of the region were freed from French colonial rule on January 1st of that year. Nakia does not live there alone. Make sure you keep watching through the credits. This is a Marvel movie after all. Remember when I said there was another reason Nakia wasn't present at T'Challa's funeral? Meet King T'Challa's son. What? His Haitian name is Toussaint, after General Toussaint Louverture. who was instrumental in helping the colonial slaves beat the French and win their independence. Of course, before all this, there is an amazing sea battle for the fate of Wakanda and Talokan. Thankfully, this time around, M'Baku and the Jabari tribe stand allies with the rest of the Wakandan people. Returning as M'Baku is the ever-entertaining Winston Duke. Watch when he enters the throne room when Queen Ramonda convenes the council. He's chewing on a carrot. This is a witty little callback to the first Black Panther when he threatened to feed Everett Ross to his children, only to admit that the Jabari tribe is vegetarian. By the way, that line, "you bald-headed demon," is another one of his hilarious improvisations. Back to the battle, the Talokan are beginning to outmatch their enemies. Watch as a warrior stabs one of the Jabari and flips him overboard. Did you hear that familiar scream? That's right, it's the famous Wilhelm scream from 1951's Distant Drums. While war is being waged on water, the battle to be won is fought on shore between Namor and our new Black Panther, Shuri. Feeling betrayed by Bast, a deity she no longer believes in, Shuri's rage was stoked further when drinking of the synthetic herb. She didn't see her brother or her newly late mother in the ancestral plane, but rather Njadaka, aka Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan. He challenges her with an ultimatum: be noble like her brother or take care of business like him. Looks like she's gonna take care of business, but then miraculously, she receives a message from her mother in the ancestral plane. Show him who you are. Does this sound familiar? That's because it's the same words of encouragement T'Challa received from her when fighting for the mantle of Black Panther in the original movie. Just as it gave him strength to beat M'Baku, it gives Shuri strength to show mercy to Namor and end the fighting between their peoples. I hope you liked this video and found some cool new secrets you never saw before in Marvel's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Make sure you subscribe to Movie Logic for more daily movie trivia, secrets, and Easter eggs.